There. So there I was, chilling in the heat, you guys. It's warm out. It's sweaty. I don't know where to put the camera. Got the sprinkler rolling though. It's too hot. It's way too hot. It's nice though. A little cloudy. Otherwise, not bad. Dogs are hanging out. Molly, what are you doing? You just messing with Smokey? You just messing with her? What's up, zombie boss? Oh, hers is so old. Yeah. Oh. I'll scratch you. Yeah. I scratch you. Ew. It's going pretty good. I just got back from doing some swimming. Ugh. It's gross. Smokey's like still a little damp from the water. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, it's like 90 something out. It was 90 something yesterday too, but I think it's a little warmer today. What's up, Rachel Hansen? What's up, Alv or ALV? Hi. 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 I am good, Rachel. Real good. Just chilling. Well, warming. I think I'm sweating a little bit. Yeah, it's a little warm out here. Power something 20 games Brazil. Hot, or you're from Brazil. Hello, Power Games. That's what I'll call you. Power Guide Games, probably. Power Guide 20 something games. Arrow. Brawl Stars clips. Yep, it's hot out, but I already went swimming. At school, it was hot as hell, and you were wearing a hoodie? Dang. I'm just wearing this shirt, and it's about to come off. What's up, Blaze? No, luckily I'm up under my umbrella, though. Well, you guys can't see that side, huh? The sun is trying to get me, but I'm just barely shaded. I'm doing good. Can't get me, Mr. Sun. Yeah, no, I'm just chilling. I don't know. I thought I'd go live and hang out. See what you guys are up to. It's hot. I freaking overdid it yesterday trying to work on stuff down at the creek. So my arms are all jacked. Like even my hands kind of hurt. They hurt. Like I cannot play mouse and keyboard right now because my hand does not like that position for some reason. And I was trying to play zombies this morning with my controller, and even that sucked a little bit because my arms are just cranking. That's what happens when you get determined to do something that's probably a little too hard. Like move a frickin' 8-foot long, probably 200 to 300 pound log. I don't know how much it weighed exactly, but I moved it. I moved it pretty far. Try to pop your hands. It didn't work. No, I popped my knuckles probably too much. Well, yeah, and then I jumped in the creek yesterday off this rock, and I jumped in like doing like almost like a cannonball, but I landed more on my back, and I went straight to the bottom and hit the bottom. Not hard, but hard enough that it kind of hurt. I had a mark on my back. Yeah, my swimming hole's getting shallow, apparently. Or maybe I'm fat. Maybe gravity is doing more to me than it ever has. Something's wrong. Could be that. I don't know. I kind of want to go jump off some cliffs again, though. Summer's going by real fast here. You jumped in the pool once and you tried to do a flip, but you failed and you hit your back hard on the water and it burned. Yeah, that would suck. You just like lay out and do a full back flop. What's up, Lane frickin' 40 squad? Shahab, how's it going, dude? Yeah. Yeah, I think I've tried to do some stupid shit like that before. Like you try to do a flip off a dock and you end up landing with like the top of your head on the end of the dock, and then you hit the water. What's up, Pete? I'm the first streamer to actually talk to you. That's crazy. You probably haven't. You couldn't have watched too many streams. You broke your leg yesterday? Oh my God, I'm sorry, man. How'd you do that? That sucks. I guess your summer is over. This guy down the street from me a couple of weeks ago broke both his legs. We heard it on the scanner. First we heard the sirens go by and I was like, something's going on. And then we turned on the scanner and we could hear them saying that they were helping this guy. And it took them like 45 minutes to get him to the hospital. I felt so bad for him because when they were calling in on the scanner saying that they were headed to the hospital, you could hear the dude in the back of the ambulance freaking out. He's like, oh my God, oh, it hurts so bad. And I'm just like, can you guys get him some morphine? Like, what the hell? Put that guy out. It was bad. I've never broke my leg. I broke my wrist once, and that sucked. What's up, Splist? How's it going, dude? Yeah, I broke my wrist, my left wrist, right about there in the 8th grade. It was awful. Definitely top 5 pain. That, kidney stone, my stint for my heart attack was fucking, or not the stint, but the, what's it called? The catheter that they used to put in, that was also top 5. The heart attack itself wasn't. That's the weird thing. I had a heart attack about, what was it, 3 years ago? And it did not hurt that bad, you guys. That's the scariest thing about it. I'll probably die and be like, what's going on? And just not even know. Maybe it'll hurt really fucking bad, though. No, you don't want a kidney stone, dude. It's awful. I didn't even get to keep the rock or anything. Oh, the kidney stone was far worse, dude. First of all, I had just drank a frap, so I was starting to have to go to the bathroom as soon as I started to notice that I had the kidney stone. And initially, it was like I had a stomach cramp, and I thought maybe I just had to go to the bathroom, and I didn't think it was number one. And then I go in the bathroom, and nothing was really happening. And then it was like I got in the shower and I let the hot water hit my side where the pain was, and that made it go away for about 5 minutes. And then it was like the pain started ramping up, and it was probably at about 6 out of 10 when I told Callie that I needed to go to the hospital. And then we got right in the car, and by the time we got to the hospital, it was probably almost 10 out of 10. And then when we got in there into the emergency room, you know, they got me in this little room and stuff, and it took this lady like 10 minutes to unpack the IV kit and put it all together and start my IV. And then they got the drugs going, and once they got some pain medicine going, it was a little bit better. And then yeah, it was just bad. I was having to go to the bathroom, but I could barely get anything to come out. But what would come out was like a lot of blood. It was scary, you know. And then I fucking, they give you like, well, I had to go get like, I think a CT scan or something so they could see how big it was. And then they found out that it wasn't that big. That's the worst part is the one I passed was about 1 millimeter. And they say you can pass one up to 10 millimeters. If they get bigger than that, they might have to go in and like laser, like they'll laser them down to smaller sizes so you can pass them or whatever. But dude, it's just not worth it. It's like there's a lot of things that give you kidney stones. Fish, a lot of sugars, a lot of different nuts. Actually, a person had a heart attack and they said it felt like an elephant was on their chest, and then they threw up bad. Yeah, I think it's different depending on what kind of heart attack you have. Mine was, I had a blockage in my right coronary artery. So it was like the artery that keeps your heart alive was blocked, right? And luckily, it was caught soon enough that it didn't damage my heart. And so, you know, we got through it pretty good, actually. Because I could have got really screwed up, you know. And then there's sometimes people will have heart attacks where, like certain certain walls of their heart will actually rupture, and you know, and then they have major damage to their heart, and depending on what part of the heart gets damaged, you don't live. Like I think my aunt had a heart attack in her 40s that was pretty bad, you know, but she lived for another 20 years. But mine wasn't that bad, actually, and apparently it was hereditary. I don't know how they determined that. I don't know what was wrong with it's like my RCA, my right coronary artery. I don't know what, you know, genetic defect I had with all that, but they said that there was literally nothing that I could do to prevent it, that it was just gonna happen. I have some other arteries that were, you know, showing signs of like, I don't know, like plaquing or something, or the start of it, I guess. But it's like, you know, those are like what my heart looks like overall, I guess, right? And then the RCA was just fucked because it was my genetics, I guess. I don't know. But they said I'm actually not that bad. My heart wasn't that bad overall. Just that one artery tried to kill me. Which I wonder if that's what happened to my grandfather. You know, my mom's dad, He died at 41 from his third heart attack. And he was in pretty damn good shape. Like, I've only ever seen pictures of him because my mom was about 7 years old when he died. But he was, skinny and a logger and shit. So he was always working and pretty active. But I think back then they didn't have the ability to detect things early, or maybe they didn't even know what was going on. And I'm lucky too, because just fucking 10 years ago, probably they would have had to split me open, split my chest open just to get in there and fix it. But luckily, they only had to stick a tube in my arm, which really hurt. Charlie, are you all right back there? Sounds like he's about to spew. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say my heart attack didn't hurt. It just didn't. It didn't hit the top 5 pain of all time, I guess, for me. But it did hurt. It hurt for about 3 weeks because I dug a garden out here in my yard, and then that's pretty much what happened. I did something and caused that blockage. I think it might have been my slide hammer, like just beating the poles into the ground. Fucking must have, jarred something loose in my body that got stuck in that RCA. But yeah, I had dug the garden, and then for 3 weeks straight, I was having this building pain in my chest, which it started over here in my armpit. Like initially, when I first had the pain, it was right there. And then over the next 3 weeks, it would move. Like I would feel it all over my chest, and then in the middle, and then back to here. And then it started getting worse and worse, to the point where I did go to the hospital to get some pain medicine, because I thought I had pulled a muscle, dude. I didn't think I'm having a heart attack for 3 weeks or some shit, right? But apparently I was. And so I had went like on a Wednesday to get the pain meds, and they did an EKG for like 1 second, and then they said it looked good. So then, they gave me some freaking pain meds and sent me on my way. And then that shit stopped working after about a day. And then on Friday, it was like 2 days after I had went to the doctor, it was so bad that I was kind of like writhing around on the floor, or I was actually like writhing around on our bed. Like I was chest down with my arms straight out, just like, just trying to find any position that didn't hurt. And there was nothing, right? And Callie was begging me to go to the hospital. And I was pissed off because I didn't think it was a heart attack. I thought, my chest was just being stupid, I guess. I don't know. But, I thought maybe I was having like a muscle cramp and a muscle tear at the same time. But either way, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go to the hospital because there's nothing they can do. And then she kept begging me to go. And then finally I was like, you know what? I'll give them 30 minutes. You can take me to the hospital, and I'm going to give them 30 minutes to figure out something, and then I'm leaving. And then I got in there, and it was like the doctor could see it on my face, dude. I think he could tell that my body wasn't getting the proper oxygen or something. And he was like, you're fucking gray, man. Or he didn't say it like that, but he's like, you're pretty gray. And then Callie, I guess at that point, noticed too that, I just had like no color. And then I told him what my symptoms were, which at that point, on that last day, I was actually starting to feel pain on both sides. Like both my arms were feeling achy. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever ran like maybe a mile or so, if you've ever ran, like you run any considerable distance and you start getting kind of like, I don't know, like a weird burning, almost like a weird ache in your hands where they're almost numb, That's kind of what it felt like, but it was more intense, And so when I told the doctor that, he was like, "Oh yeah, you're probably having a heart attack." And then he did a blood test, and your heart releases an enzyme when it's stressed. And when you have a heart attack, it releases a lot of it. And so they can tell off the levels of that enzyme. It's called troponin in your blood. So if you ever think you're having a heart attack, or if you ever injure yourself and you're not sure and they're not running a troponin, ask for one. But either way, that's what they checked. They checked my troponin levels and they were through the roof, you know. So apparently I was having a heart attack. And then I live in a small town with a shitty hospital that they're not really equipped for heart attacks. So I had to get in an ambulance and ride about 100 miles to the next one, which was crazy. It was scary. It was like 10:30, almost 11 o'clock at night. It was Friday the 13th of, I think, May 2022. And I'm like in the ambulance just thinking, dude, if we wreck and go off the road and die, like all of us in this ambulance, no one's going to even question it. Like you'd see that on the news and be like, an ambulance crashed and all occupants died on Friday the 13th. And you'd just be like, yeah, well, what were they doing? I'm freaking you out. You get chest pain a lot. Well, you should probably get checked out, dude. Because if something's going on, they might be able to get you on some medications that might save your life. Because here's the other thing, dude. I had AFib for about 4 years prior to that. Like I had already had a somewhat of a cardiac episode where my heart was beating erratically, you know, and I had to go in and they had to teach me how to get myself out of AFib, and they almost had to shock me with the paddles when that happened. And after that, they put me on a few different heart meds, and one of them was just a blood thinner. And you know, that's like I'm saying, I was 99% blocked on my right coronary artery, and I was on a blood thinner. So if I wouldn't have been on that blood thinner, I would not be here. Well, you better get a checkup, dude. You should get one every year, and then, you know, don't fuck around. Like, even if you die, it's going to hurt so fucking bad. You're going to be pissed off that you didn't do something about it. You got to eat the vegetables. You got to eat the fish. You don't have any medical coverage? Well, here's what you do. You drive down to Mexico, and then you fucking stay there for about a week, get a real nice tan, grow a mustache, just a little chintzy one, doesn't have to be much. And then you sneak back across that border, claim asylum, and then I'm pretty sure you'll have all the medical coverage, you'll have all the housing, fucking everything you need. If they ask you if you speak any English, you just say, "K," over and over again. That's all you got to do. We're going to get you hooked up. We're going to get you on the system, dog. Yeah, you just go to the marketplace and they'll tell you that you need to pay money, and then you'll be like, fuck that. No, but you really should get checked out, dude. And there probably is some fucking shit. It's just a pain in the ass to get it, and you got to feel like an asshole trying to get it, but you still have to go, you still have to do it. I don't know. But yeah, that sucks. What's up, Lene squad? I think I had asked you what you did to your legs, or what you did to your leg. Like which bone did you break and how did you break it? Is it a spiral fracture? We talking an open fracture here? What are we doing here? You know, show me the wound. He fell down a hill. I didn't even see it. I wasn't paying attention. Fell down a big hill. Yeah, I see it now. God damn it. That sucks. So you probably broke it before you hit the bottom of the hill and then got kind of tossed around with a broken leg. That would be awful, dude. That would suck. When I broke my arm in the 8th grade, we were in PE class, and the teacher came into the locker room as we were getting like changed so that we could participate in PE, and he told us we didn't need to get changed because we were gonna go bowling. And my fat ass was so excited, dude. I was like, oh, we're gonna go bowling. I was just like, yeah. And so I went running out into the gym because we had time before we were gonna leave. And there was like, you know, there's the 2 main basketball hoops on the ends of the fucking gymnasium, like on the ends of the whole court. But then on the side walls, there was a couple other ones that stuck out, you know, just so people could shoot hoops or whatever. And they were held up by these long fucking metal pipes that were sticking straight out of the wall, right? Well, I jumped up on the bleachers and then jumped out to grab those metal pipes so that I could hang on them. And I had tried to do this a couple of times in the past and could never actually reach those bars. What's up, Jamie? So on this day, though, when we were told we were going bowling, I was super excited, and I ran out there, and I was determined to grab a hold of these bars, or this one bar. And so I jumped out and I grabbed it, and I only got a hold of it with like the ends of my fingers. Like the bar was like right here, you know, and so I'm like holding on, but I didn't have a good enough grip. And so I was able to just swing my whole body like level with the ground. And then I lost my grip and fell from basically about the height of a basketball rim. I fell straight to the ground. And as I was falling, I put both my hands behind me and kind of down to catch myself. I mean, it's just instinct, I guess, but that's where I think I landed more on my left side, you know, so I landed and just like compression fractured my wrist, like I said, right there. I broke it right below the growth plate. So then they were worried that my arm was going to be a different length than the other one, but that didn't ever happen. But it sucked. I jumped up, I looked at my wrist, and right here, it was sagging down to about like right where my finger is. Like there was just like nothing is what it looked like, you know, it was like down to there. And I was just like, oh shit. And then I ran, I looked across the gym, and my best friend was like at the half court mark on the other side. So I ran over to him and I was like, Mike, I broke my arm. And he didn't believe me. He's like, no, you didn't. And I was like, yeah, I did. Look. And I showed him my arm, and I looked at it again, and I just went, like I fucking hit the ground. And then I'm laying there holding onto my wrist, and I'm crying. And fucking Mike and my buddy Brendan, I'll never forget these little fuckers. They were standing over me, pointing at me, laughing. And then I had to go to the hospital. But before I could go there, I had to go to the principal's office and wait for my dad to come get me at the school. I can't remember how long that took, but it was a while. It was like 15 minutes or some shit. You know, and we lived in town. But my dad, you know, he took his time. But either way, he shows up, gets me, takes me to the hospital. And then or it was like a clinic or something. I went to the doctor's office and they determined that it was a compression fracture, you know, and so my bone was only like 15 degrees out of alignment. And so he was like, if it was more than 20, we'd have to reset it, but it's fine. I think he tried to like put it back in the right spot a little bit, but it wasn't like a full reset, you know. But either way, it's a weird spot. Like it aches to this day. It's my weather wrist. Like if the weather's changing, I can feel it in my wrist. And then I can feel right there too, like just rubbing on it, I can feel where the break is because it healed. It healed right there. And it's not perfectly straight basically, so it's like totally different than this other side. It's weird feeling, man. But yeah, I was always getting hurt when I was a kid. Falling out of trees. I fell out of a tree and landed straight on my head. I've got a fucking, I don't even know if I can show it to you guys. I've got a scar right there. You might not be able to see it. I might have too much hair now. I had this tree. I was 5 years old. I had this tree. It was my favorite tree to climb. And I went out there right after it rained. And I jumped up and grabbed the first branch that I'd always grab, and I pulled myself up. And then when I got that branch at my waist level or whatever, my hand slipped because it was wet. And then I went over the branch, landed straight on this big tree root that was sticking out of the ground. And it busted my head open. I had to go get stitches, and they had to pull some bark out of my head. Yeah. One day we were out in the driveway, and there was this huge cardboard box in the back of the fucking truck. I don't know what the hell it was for. You know, it might have been a hot water heater box or a stove or something, you know, but it's a big cardboard box. My little brother, he was like 3, maybe 4 years old. Somehow he had found a steak knife. And he was sitting there stabbing this box with the steak knife. And, you know, because of the serrated blade, when the blade would go into the cardboard, it would go poof, poof. And it was making a really weird and kind of cool sound, actually. And so my brother is standing there frickin' stabbing this box. And I was right behind him watching him do it. And he, you know, he's real young, so who knows why he did it. But he literally stuck his hand up on the box just like this and took that knife and just went bam and just stabbed himself straight in the palm. And then he starts freaking out, and I picked him up and carried him into the house. It was a situation. Luckily, I don't think it was bad. I don't remember exactly how it ended, you know. I think my mom said, get the fuck out of here. And then I went back outside. But yeah, he had stuck himself right in the hand. It's fucking crazy. We had a rope swing, or it was like more of a climbing rope, I guess, but it was a rope swing right there on that tree. And my dad had pulled up in the driveway where the back of the truck was right up in the area where the rope was. And so I was able to get up on the tailgate and jump off and then get really swinging. And I thought that was pretty fun. But then I decided it would be more fun to run along the tailgate and jump off and get swinging in a circle. And so I did that. And I did it a couple of times, and then I did it real hard the last time. And I swung around so far and so hard that I came back over to the actual tree, and I slammed into the tree with like my back and the back of my head. Like I fucking come right off that rope. It didn't knock me out, but it knocked me for a loop. That was a crazy place. There was this shitty old car in our backyard, and some chickens had laid a couple of eggs under it. And then my brother and I crawled under there, and we discovered some eggs. We were like, oh, wow, fucking eggs. And so we touched them, and they had been sitting there for so long that they were rotten. And just touching them made them explode. And then we were covered in rotten egg. My mom was pissed. You haven't broken a bone or had stitches? Fuck. When I was in PE class, that same Mike that laughed at me for breaking my arm, we were playing floor hockey, and he high sticked me right there, and I had to get like 4 stitches in my eye bone. That was fucking crazy. I was pissed because he not only did he high stick me, but he scored. Yeah, this was just PE floor hockey, and he fucking does this wicked slap shot and scores, but he also slapped me right in the fucking face. And then, we didn't have any refs or anything. We just had a PE teacher that was sitting over in the booth. He didn't give a shit. He's just like running the clock pretty much. And then he didn't even see me get hit. And then I was pretty much the best on our team, so I fucking went over to the center face-off because whoever wanted to could do it, and I was just like, get the fuck out of the way. Like, I'd go right over to it. So I went over to take the face-off, and for PE class, we would have like these little gold jerseys that we would put on over our shirt. Well, I had one of those on because I was on the Golds team, and frickin' my eye was just bleeding all over that gold jersey. And when I walked up to the face-off circle, the coach saw me from the booth. He goes, "Are you bleeding?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Get over here." And then I went over there, and he's like, "You got to go to the hospital." And I was pissed off. I wanted to keep playing. I loved hockey, dude. I love watching hockey. I've never learned how to skate, but when we would play floor hockey in school, I was a nut. I would take it pretty serious. We actually had a kid transfer to our school in like our sophomore year that played hockey. And I think they must have held him back like 2 or 3 years because this guy was huge and old looking. But man, he changed floor hockey for all of us when he showed up because he knew how to fucking play. He could fucking pick the puck up off the ground and start fucking, tossing it around with the stick. And we were just like, what the hell? Just think about playing a game like that with skates on. Yeah, dude. I remember I got into it with my ex-father-in-law down in Texas because he said that hockey was a pussy sport and they were just a bunch of figure skaters. And I was like, dude, no. I tried to explain it to him. I was like, these guys are skating around at like 35 miles an hour. They're moving around on a surface that's harder than anything any football player will ever play on. They're moving faster and hitting each other harder than any football player will ever hit each other. Those guys are huge too. Like, a lot of people don't realize the dudes in the NHL are the same exact size as the guys in the NFL. They're just not fat fucks. Like, your offensive and defensive linemen in the NFL are paid to be fat fucks because that's what works in those plays and that formation, whatever they're doing. But the NHL, those guys are like 6'4", 240, and just ripped. And they're hitting each other going 35 miles an hour into fucking boards and glass. And then they've got a stick in their hand where they're flying around fucking smacking this frozen chunk of rubber at each other. I've seen dudes get hit like right here with a puck and it split them from there all the way to there, like 150 stitches or some shit. Just in an NHL game that I was watching on TV. Or a guy was skating backwards and the guy was coming towards him with the puck, and the guy that was skating backwards had his stick on the ice, because he's trying to like be able to play the puck. And the guy that was coming with the puck did a slap shot. The puck bounced off the dude's stick, come up, hit him right square in the mouth, knocked his front 4 teeth out. And then, like, you're watching the TV, you know, and they're like, we'll be back with more Hockey Night in Canada right after this. And as they're saying that, you're watching the referees skate around picking up this guy's teeth. And it's just like, yeah, this is the most brutal fucking sport. And then there's the fighting. Okay, if you get into a fist fight in any other sport, you're out. You're out of the league probably. They probably kick you off the team or some shit, right? Like, or at best, you're going to get suspended for several games, probably fined. In hockey, it's part of the game. It's just like a boxing match almost, as far as how fighting in a boxing match is allowed. So it is also allowed in hockey. And as a matter of fact, you got 5 players from each team on the ice at any given time. If 2 of those guys fight each other, they both go to the penalty box, and it's an offsetting penalty, and each team goes down to 4 players, or some, I think in some cases they just keep a 5th player out or whatever. But you know, unless somebody's just going out of their way to rough somebody up, or you know, do a serious penalty, then you're not going to have that mismatch. But fighting in hockey is just part of the fucking sport. Like, there's dudes, you know, in the NHL that's pretty much all they're good at. What's up, Evan? Evan Colstring. But yeah, Blaze, it's definitely a crazy sport. And I think the talent that I've seen in hockey is really crazy too. Like, I remember watching Mario Lemieux when he made his comeback, and because I didn't really get to see him in his heydays or whatever, but you know, because I was too little and I didn't watch hockey then. But when I was into hockey, he made his comeback, and even then, he was so good, dude. He'd take the puck behind the fucking net and shoot it off of the defenseman's skates into the goal. Like, he'd see a defenseman standing up there next to the goalie, and one of his players would skate by that guy, and that guy would turn around to check that dude out of the zone or whatever, and fucking he would shoot the puck. Instead of passing it to somebody like they expected, he'd bounce it off somebody's skates into the freaking net. It was, you know, just the craziest shit. Or it's like, you'll see some guy out at the blue line go to hit a slap shot, and there goes the puck at like 105 miles an hour, and it's coming up off the ice just nice and gently. It's gonna go upper corner of the fucking net. The goalie sees that coming from far out, you know, so he's ready with his glove to catch that puck. But then one of the other players for the guy who took the slap shot is right there in front of the net. Mind you, he's not just standing there. He's getting checked the whole time. There's a defenseman sitting there just bashing him with a stick, but he's fucking ready. And as that puck comes by at 105 miles an hour, he takes his stick and he goes boop, and he slaps that puck down out of the air as it's coming by. He hits it on the top and makes it go down. And the goalie, who thinks it's going to go up, just barely misses it as it goes by under his glove. And it's like, imagine if the players in the MLB, like Major League Baseball, were able to take a ball that was pitched at them and knock it straight down out of the air onto the ground. Like, I've never seen them do it. I don't think there would be any purpose for them to do it, but I don't think they can do it. I don't think they have the hand-eye coordination necessary to do it. I think the only people I've seen that are even close are the hockey players. They are on another level with their stick handling and hand-eye coordination. Like, they're probably all really good at fucking racket sports too, like tennis and badminton and all that shit. But yeah, the pucks go fast, dude. And I don't know how much they weigh. It's a couple ounces, I think. Since you're talking about something similar, when younger, you were playing hockey in a friend's driveway and the same thing happened. Snapshot, tip of the stick, hit you right in the eye. Oh yeah. Yeah, and I've got sharp eye bones, like my eye socket bones, just rubbing on them under my fucking brow there. It almost hurts. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you meant snap or slap shot. I think there is a snapshot. I don't really know everything about hockey, so I think I don't. I'm not even sure what a snapshot is. I think a snapshot is when you take and you kind of drag the puck back a little bit and then just kind of fling it forward. Where a slap shot's like full on rip it back and then follow through. But yeah, I only ever played a little bit of floor hockey in school. We didn't play a lot. I'd get too wild with it too. I'd get all pissed off, wanting to fight. Now I understand. I understand why fighting is a part of hockey. Because some of that shit is frustrating. You know, some of the best matches I ever watched were very low scoring. And I'm sure for the guys out there that are trying to score, that is bullshit, you know. Or when I was a kid, I watched a game one time where it was Pittsburgh versus Philadelphia, so the Penguins versus the Flyers, and they went to a 5th overtime period. So I started watching this game at like 7 o'clock at night, and I think they were just getting into overtime at like 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock, you know, and it's like when you in hockey, when it's not the postseason, so during the regular season, when they go to overtime, they do 5 minutes. And if nobody scores, they can actually have a tie. But once it goes to the playoffs, there's no ties allowed. So when it goes to overtime, it's sudden death, and whoever scores the next goal wins. Well, in that game that I watched, they played to a 5th overtime period. So, you know, nobody had scored. I think there had been like 2 goals scored in the regular game, and then nobody scored through 4 straight periods of overtime, 20-minute periods, dude. So a regular hockey game's 3 20-minute periods. They played through another regular hockey game worth of time, and then another 20-minute period, and then somewhere in the 5th period, somebody finally scored. And, you know, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning when this hockey game ended. Or it was like 2.5 hockey games. It was crazy. I felt so bad. I didn't even finish watching it. I think I fell asleep. But I felt so bad for those guys. You know, that, like, I think it got to the point where no one could score because everybody was just too tired. And the goalies were just too good, man. That was back in the 90s when there was some crazy good goalies. I don't even watch hockey anymore, so I don't even know now. There might be some awesome goalies now, but I'm sure there is. But back then, there was some goalies that would piss you off, you know. Like Dominic Hasek, I think he played for the fucking Buffalo Sabres, and they weren't good at offense, but you just couldn't fucking score against them. Like your team, whatever, you know, like I was a big Penguins fan, or sometimes I, like when I first started watching, I really liked Detroit because they were like, they won the Stanley like a couple years in a row, and so they were just kind of like the popular team. And I'm from Montana. We don't have a team, so I was like, I can pick whoever I want, right? So I initially was a Red Wings fan, but then I got to where I really liked the Penguins. And I liked the whole, like I was talking about earlier, like Lemieux when he came back. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't remember what I was saying. But yeah, anyway, fucking when like the Red Wings would face Buffalo, dude, you know, the Red Wings against any other team, they might score 5 goals, but against Buffalo, they'd be lucky to get 1. And then like their goalie, the Red Wings goalie, wasn't the best, so you know, the other team could score a couple of goals, and that would be that, because that fucking Hasek was terrible, in a good way, but it was annoying because he wasn't on my team, you know. There was another one too. It was I think Patrick Waugh from fucking Colorado. He was amazing. And irritate me. Because I was not a Colorado fan. I should have been probably because that was the closest team to where I lived. The Avs, the Avalanche. Dude, there hasn't been a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup in like 30 years. That's pretty crazy. Charlie is passed out with his ball over here, you guys. You gotta see this. He was like, we're gonna play with this ball. Oh, then somebody made a noise and now he's awake. Who did Gretzky play for? I think it was like the Rangers or something. He was before my time too. Like I didn't ever get to see him play. He was good though. Yeah, Mimi, that's Charlie. I call him Charlie the Gnarly. But yeah, I don't know how many he still has, but I know at one time Gretzky had like over 50 different records in the NHL. Most of them are, I think, offensive, like scoring records and shit. Just the best that there ever was, pretty much. But I think there might be some guys that have gotten closer to him with like the number of goals scored and all that. But yeah, he was like the Babe Ruth for a long time. Charlie, I'm gonna get that ball, Charlie. Charlie, I'm gonna get that ball. You want me to come get that ball? I'm gonna get it. That's it, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get it. Oh, that's it. Where are you going? Where are you going with that ball? Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. You making funny noises, Charlie? He's like, I dare you to try to get this ball. I'm gonna move in nice and slow and get that ball. Nope. Nope. These things are kind of cool. I haven't filled one up in a while. These Kongs. You stuff this thing. They try to get you to buy some easy cheese at the freaking pet store that's like twice the price of normal easy cheese. But what you really do is you bring these home and you fill it with peanut butter and then you freeze it. And then you give it to the dogs and it takes them fucking hours to clean that out. You do that if you need your dogs to shut the hell up for a couple hours. I haven't filled those up in a while though. I'm just hanging out in the yard. Charlie. Come here. Come here. What are you doing? Oh. Oh. Let me get you. Let me get you. It's so hot, huh? We might have to go back to the CR because it's so hot. Trying to see what the... It's like 90 in the shade. Yeah, it's like 90. It's like 90 in the shade, Charlie. You're too warm. You want down? Okay, I'll let you down. Come on. There you go. Yeah, you're just panting in the shade. This is bad. What time is it? It's almost 4. It's not gonna start cooling down for a couple hours. Fuck. Like, I am sweating just sitting here, you guys. And I know it's probably because I'm fat. But I think a lot of it's because it's so hot. Half of it's this beard. It's like I'm wearing a fucking sweater on my face. Supposed to have really hot the next 3 days. Yeah, I think same with us. It was yesterday, today, and then tomorrow. I think we might be getting a day ahead of you. No, I bet not. I mean, the heat's good for some things, but if you're trying to work outside or anything like that, it sucks. There's down here at the elementary school, the roof is flat and it's tar, and I think they can only do it on days that are really hot. So I like this whole summer basically there's been a crew down there, but I only see them on like the hottest days. I think that tar is just easier to work when it's hot, you know. But man, they look miserable. They're up there with like these big hats and fucking, I don't even know. Like they're all dressed up, but it's gotta suck, man. Part of me wants to go to the Yak River, but it's fucking far. Yeah, dude. My grandmother she lived in a trailer and she had a fucking swamp cooler on the top of it. And it was like every summer for a couple years in a row, we had to, well, yeah, it was a couple summers in a row, basically. We had to like redo the tar around this swamp cooler, and my dad would be cussing up a storm, dude. Oh, it was a pain in the ass. So fucking hot. And you're basically like moving around tar with a mop, you know? It's just stupid. Well, shit, you guys. I'm gonna go. Might go back in the house and chill out because it's there. I have air conditioning, you know? I'm just hanging out here like an idiot. I mean, it's not bad in the shade, but it is warm out here. But I don't know. Callie might want to go swimming again or something. You know, my dogs are hating it out here. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna go find something to do. Take it easy, Zombie Boss, Blaze, the rest of yous. Have a good one.